Hello, 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 and welcome to ER Emotional Response. This is Ivory once again tuning in to bring us together, number one, for growth as usual, and also for awareness on topics that either we're already privy to or to enlighten us on. So let's join in today. This is Life Coaching with Ink, Ivory on Emotional Response Podcast. A couple of weeks ago, we covered meditation. Last week, we covered sexuality versus identity. Today, I would like to talk about self-hatred. I strategically made this a topic because just like an onion, we are multi-layered. And as we dived into meditation, becoming centered with self, last week, the following week after meditation, which was last week, we covered sexuality versus identity, who you are outside of what your preference is, your sexual preferences. And so now I want to dive into the topic of self-hatred. Self-hatred is a very heavy topic. I know you hear me say that a lot because I'm very passionate about emotional wellness, and almost every topic under emotional wellness is just as important as the next. Self-hatred is a very important topic, mainly because it's disguised in certain behavior, in certain conversations. And as we engage and converse in the world, we need to move in such a way that we label things correctly. And so self-hatred is a topic that needs to be talked about, mainly because when you center yourself and you grow accustomed to who you are as an individual, you also identify with the conversation that you have with yourself. Excuse my voice. I think with the change of the weather, the pollen count is up and it's affecting my voice. So excuse me if I sound a little raspy, but as you know from previous episodes, I'm very candid at letting my audience know if my voice or anything is going on with me. So excuse me if I clear my throat. Self-hatred. Self-hatred is an extreme dislike or hatred of oneself. It is the action of being angry or even prejudiced against yourself. And you might ask the question, can a person that has self-hatred love others? Can they actually be capable of loving others? That is a very good question and something to be pondered on. Because understanding the concept of love, you understand love of self first, then love of others. So, understanding what self-hatred is and how you feel about yourself will also be the extent of how you feel about others. Can you have a clear definition of what love looks like when connecting with others? Anyone can paint a picture But to actually experience that picture is a whole nother topic. And so I think if I dive into that question, the best way to dive into that question is someone can give off the appearance and even engage with you in a loving way and still not capsule what love really is if they have self-hatred towards themselves. Because how can you hate your own skin and extend love to others? Either you're putting on a very theatrical experience, or there is no or. Because self-hatred is so volatile that it will affect your relationships around you. As you become critical of self, you become critical of others. Even in diving with the topic of religion and knowing God, it will even affect how you view God and his relationship with you. It will cause you to question your existence. Self-hatred is so poisonous that it affects your worldview and how you treat people within your culture, within your class, within your career. It is a poison that oozes through everything that is connected to you, and the root of it is breaking down yourself. And because you break down yourself, you find everything attached to you and you break it down. So sometimes when you're engaging with others and they are so critical of your existence and so harsh treating towards your existence, it affects you to the point that you begin to question your existence, when in actuality it is their existence that they are not happy with. So this part of the series, I will be defining all the ways that self-hatred look like in your life, in another individual's life. If you have a clear and healthy love of self, you don't have to worry about this. This is an extreme dislike of one's existence. Self-hatred ripples into so many different disorders. And it can come from so many different experiences. If you're growing up in a very hostile environment and you're verbally and emotionally and mentally attacked on a regular basis to the point that you begin to question yourself as an adult, why do you exist? And so, because you ask yourself, why do you exist, and what is your worth, and you're not worth anything, you start reiterating everything that you experienced as a child. And then you dismantle the very unique traits of yourself. And it comes out in different forms. Plastic surgery is an option for people to correct imperfections. But for a person that has an extreme self-dislike, a self-hatred, how does that look when you're using the instrument of plastic surgery? Every time you look in the mirror, you want to alter your existence. You alter your existence to the point you're never satisfied. And the root of it is you have to deal with yourself emotionally. It goes deeper than the knife. And that's why after a certain amount of plastic surgeries, psychological assessments occur. Because at some point, you should become satisfied with self. No one can reach the state of perfection. Because perfection is a fictitious concept, an unattainable theory. If you're born with flaws, there's no way that you can reach a perfect point. People use that term very loosely to coin that they enjoy the full concept of a person or a thing. Oh, this is just perfect. Oh, this just feels perfect. You are the all-encompassing definition of perfection. However, when it's said very loosely because perfection is something unreachable from a flawed individual. And all of us under the sun are flawed. That's what makes us human. We have good and we have bad on our sides. We have good sides, we have bad sides. We have positives, we have negatives. Do it make us a person that shouldn't exist because we have negatives? No. Everybody under the sun is flawed. And so that's why we can't really look down at others, because their negatives is different. How dare you? Because if you look at yourself long enough and assess your life, you have negatives too. And though they might be different, that don't mean they're less than other people. And so self-hatred can come out of your experiences growing up. Self-hatred can come from the imagery that you see on TV. If you see a certain culture identified as beautiful, 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 and then you look in the mirror and you don't look like that beautiful definition that the imagery has portrayed on the TV or on the radio, you begin to hate yourself. It's a lot of that going on now. If certain women are not born with certain attributes when it comes to their physical assessment, they're not heavy up top. They're not heavy at the bottom. They don't have hips. They begin to question their existence or seek to alter it. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. Because if you don't, self-hatred can grow at an all-time high, and you'll find yourself losing yourself to gain social acceptance when you really don't like yourself, when the lights is off and the doors was closed and it's just you. Self-hatred can come in the form of excessively eating. You're trying to eat away whatever tormenting thoughts, either from a relationship, either from parental care growing up, either from your job. All of a sudden, you start despising your existence and you hide it in food until you become a glutton.